You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu Waifu. Polo and Tell, is that you?
Mic check. Mic check waifu waifu. Tellionaire, is that you?
What's up, y'all? We here.
This is episode 147 of Mic Check Waifu Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Lube Complex. Make sure you go to lubecomplex.com. Use that offer code waifu to save on your entire cart. It's also brought to you by don'ttalkshop.com as well. As our Patreon producers. You can pull up the Patreon producers because I definitely didn't pull them up. There they go. AB, Aaron Brown, Dre, the GOAT G, Johnny from Anime Lyrical Podcast, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture Podcast, Explicitly, Monique Williams, Nachi. Thank y'all so much for producing this and many other episodes of the podcast. We appreciate you. We appreciate y'all a lot. Mic Check Waifu Waifu is the anime podcast. It's brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. EST. You can follow us on Twitter at Mic Check Waifu and on Instagram at Mic Check Waifu Waifu. We appreciate y'all for doing that. Make sure you leave us a nice review on wherever you're listening. We got a real big episode for you. This 147.
A thick one.
Yeah, real thick one. Spring is in full effect. Finally.
Almost full effect. We got some more stuff coming next week, right?
That's true. That's a valid point. Like 2 or 3 shows still. Jesus Christ.
Like I don't think your sleeper hit until next week.
Yep. 3 more days. So 3 more days from the day we're recording this. So yeah, we still got a lot of shit to watch. Damn. Just to put it into perspective, I'm going to count how many episodes of anime I watched. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 episodes of anime.
And he definitely did better than me because I watched 13, 4 of which being from an anime that I thought I had watched years ago. And I did not watch, apparently.
Wait, it's a new show?
It's coming back, but I didn't watch it before, and I thought I did, and I can't remember what I got it confused with.
Oh shit! Okay, all right. Well, let's get into it. I want to start off by first saying, before we get into all that, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, bro. Like I told you, I got a full night's rest last night.
Clean.
We chilling. I'm good, bro. I cut the grass. It looked almost like it got a fresh lineup out here. But yeah, I'm feeling good. How about you, bro? How you feeling?
Pretty terrible. Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's go. I meant to say that. I meant to say Kingdom Hearts 4 got announced. Kingdom Hearts Missing Link got announced. Come on, bro. Polo.
I was joking. I was just recollecting on my thoughts about it, and I'm like, all right, this is what I'm gonna do. Since I haven't played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 since probably a decade ago. Obviously, when I was a kid and they first came out in 2002, I played it on PlayStation 2 at my grandmother's house, actually, my grandfather's house, my step grandmother. But I played it over there. Thought it was incredible. Okay, thought it was so good. Beat the first one. Then 10 years later, well, the second one I played a little bit of. I got to, was it the second one I had? What's the name as the final boss or one of the bosses?
Ansem.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Fucking hated that one. So that, yeah, it was.
Or Zaya. Yeah, it was Ansem. Yeah. Go ahead. 2
was definitely not as nostalgic as 1 was, but it was still okay back then. Then 10 years ago, I played them recently, quote unquote recently, obviously being 10 years ago, and they sucked. They were awful. They were just terrible. They played awful. The story was fucking so dumb. All of it was stupid at that time. Now, did I give it a fair shake? Probably not. I never beat them again. I only beat them the 1 time from back in the day. I don't think I've. Yeah, I did finish. Yeah, I don't think I've. The only like DS one I played. What was that shit called? It was my first, like one of my first DS games. I can't remember what it was called though.
Chain of Memories.
I think it was Chain of Memories. Yeah, sounds like.
Well, actually, no, it wasn't Chain of Memories. Chain of Memories was from Chain of Memories was Game Boy Advance.
No, I'm talking about
DS one.
Yeah, the first
Probably
DS one.
my 368/2.
Okay, yeah, I played that one. Never beat it though because I lost my DS. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go back. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this collection and I'm gonna play them again, just to see if it's as bad as I remember.
Hold the fuck up, bro. You about to do? You did you get the collection already?
No, not yet.
Cause hear me out. Hear me out for a second.
I'm
on this
hearing you
anime
out.
podcast. I need to watch that. I need to watch you play it. Like, cause I was thinking about buying the collection myself. Cause I'm like, ain't no way they announced that Kingdom Hearts 4 and a new iOS/Android game that I know I want to play.
Probably not gonna touch that.
Yeah, probably not. But that's how you get into the games. Cause
Yes,
everyone who played the previous mobile one got put into the final boss on this one. So, yeah, I want to see you play that, bro. Because here's the thing: is that like I think Kingdom Hearts 1 had the best story for like the console versions of it, right? Like the larger console versions, the at-home console versions.
Yeah, I agree. With
Kingdom Hearts 2 had the best gameplay for me personally. Outside, I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 had better gameplay, but it was like they implemented it and introduced new stuff into Kingdom Hearts 2, so it felt better with like the storyline, because the storyline in Kingdom Hearts 2 is better than the storyline in Kingdom Hearts 3. So I would like to watch that. But the remakes, you know, the final mixes and stuff like that, they implement the newer stuff,
the better combat.
It's like a better transition into everything.
Interesting. So it might even be better just because of that.
Right, and like the Chain of Memories game is actually already built in there, so you get all the extra context that you may have missed. So honestly, the story might even be better because you're not missing anything. It's just going right through the entire story.
Damn, yeah, that's kind of cheating though, right? Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Fuck it, because I never played Kingdom Hearts 3, obviously, for obvious reasons. Because
he hates Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But again, it was 10 years ago. What the fuck was I doing 10 years ago? I was 20. Like, I'm just not a fair chance, you know.
I mean, it's definitely a fair chance, bro.
Is
At 20, at 20, you were
at 20 for me though.
In your mind frame for a video game at 20, you gotta think about how we were at 20, right? Like, your mind frame for a video game was definitely more advanced than some other people's mind frame for like how you think and look at the video game was probably different than how other people looked at it.
Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, maybe that's the problem.
I was zoned in from like, I was already attached to these characters, but then they had like a storyline I really enjoyed. Like Kingdom Hearts 2 to me, I think is top tier. It's not the best Kingdom Hearts game to me because, like I said, we already know my favorite. Yeah. But Kingdom Hearts 2 was like, in terms of a console game, that was everything I wanted in a console game. Just make it so I can play with a friend, and I'd have been cool. I'd have been like, all right, I'm done. I don't need nothing else. This is the game. I'll be set.
Yeah. We'll see. I don't know. I just feel like I was just in a different space, probably. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, let's get into this anime podcast. I promise we talk about anime again all the time on this podcast. But before we do that, I gotta ask you, Montel, or I gotta tell you, I should say. I tweeted from our Twitter at MikeCheckWaifu. Make sure you follow us there. Episode of the week? ? Might be impossible. We got a response from Black Damzilla said, yeah, good luck with that this week with some heat. This week has some heat, I'm sorry. And he's not lying. What in the hell are we going to do about episode of the week this week for you? I'm going to make you go first.
So I hate to fucking say this was the episode of the week. But I also don't hate to say it. So I chose a sleeper this time. And I'm very proud of the sleeper. I think it might actually do really good. But my episode of the week actually goes to Spy Family because I really enjoyed that first episode. And my wife sat down and watched it with me. and I was like, you know what, this might be better than I even expected, because I knew people were hyping it up, but I wasn't sure if it was actually going to be as good as I thought it was going to be. But that first episode kind of gave me some good vibes, a good feeling.
Dope.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Spy Family this week.
Okay. So this is tough because Spy Family was really good. I'm glad you chose it. At least one of us did. I did like Spy Family a lot, but for me, my episode of the week has to be Shikamori's Not Just a Cutie.
I gotta watch that. Oh no, I knew you was gonna say something I was supposed to watch.
Yeah, Shikamori Not Just a Cutie, such a good fucking show already from episode 1. I just loved it from moment 1. Main character just being a super average, typical, maybe side character in another anime, but he's actually the main character of this one. And then with this spectacular, idolified, is that a word? Oh, well, it's a word now. Idolified girlfriend. Like, she's just this perfect, beautiful, popular girl in school who just absolutely adores him. And he absolutely adores her. And it starts off with them just together. Sure. And shit ensues. And it's so funny, extremely wholesome, and just beautiful, beautiful eyes. Also, this season, so far, this has my waifu of the season so far, which is his mom, the main character's mom. She's fucking phenomenal.
So is this a wholesome season? Because it seems like it's some pretty wholesome stuff this season.
Man, we're going to get into that.
Because, bro, it's some stuff in here. I'm just like, I'm actually kind of excited to really watch this. Like,
yeah. I think this week, every episode 1, Heat Week material. So what we're gonna do this episode, I'm gonna just give y'all a quick rundown. What we're gonna do this episode is we're gonna go first impressions of, spring season's episode 1. Okay, the first impressions of these shows that we watched. We're gonna try to run through them as detailed, but also as quickly as we can, because we don't want the podcast to be 3 hours long, because that's where we would be if we went into full details of these shows. But like, where do we? Let me start first. Okay,
yeah, start with yours first.
One of the ones I've also feel like that is extremely wholesome. Okay, is Ahirin. What is the English title? I think this is the only title. Yeah, Ahirin-san wa Hakanare Narina, or whatever the fuck, however you say it. Ahirin is what I'm gonna just fucking call it, because that's her name. But it's the one with the dude with the super dull face and the girl who's like really small and tiny and cute and adorable. Yep. So that one ended up being something extremely fucking wholesome. It's great. It's about this guy who appears to be what's that anime called? Fuck, y'all. I know y'all probably scream. The anime with the big burly dude who gets this little small petite cute girl, and they fall in love with each other. I forget what that anime is called, but it reminds me of that. But this is about a guy whose face is not the most approachable face. He basically has a resting bitch face. Yeah. And he starts his high school career, and he's like, yo, I'm gonna start my high school career differently. This is one of those anime with inner monologue that is incredible, because it's mostly his inner monologue of him trying to become a better or a more approachable guy in high school. He sit next to this girl called Ahirin, and she is this small, petite, very, 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 very quiet girl, who's like definitely unique in every sense of the word, because she had trouble making friends because she is also unapproachable. So something that they both have in common, that they're working together and ended up becoming friends. 2 episodes that just dropped before since we've recorded our last episode of the podcast too. Yeah. So very interesting show. Ted, what did you think about it?
I didn't get to watch it yet.
Oh shit, you missing a lot of stuff.
No. Well, so look, I wanted to watch this one.
It's so good.
And I was like, I don't think Polo's gonna jump on this one yet. I didn't think he was gonna jump on this one. I looked at the picture, and I guess I judged a book by its cover. And I was like, Polo ain't gonna watch this one yet. And I planned on watching all 3 episodes next week.
Come on, man, I'm a slice head, bro.
I know, but I didn't think this was gonna have you zoned in like that.
Every slice has me zoned in.
I feel you. I'm so excited to actually watch that one. I'm glad you like it, because then that means it's gonna be good for me too.
You will laugh out loud too, because I know I did. This fucking show is hilarious. What you got for me?
The greatest demon lord is reborn as a typical nobody.
Yes.
I was thoroughly surprised by this, bro.
Increasingly impressed by this show as it went on.
So I wasn't 100% sure on I wasn't 100% sure on how like they were going to do this like demon lord to the nobody scenario, right? Like, we know he wants to be a nobody, so how is it gonna happen? And I mean, his mindset and everything, like how he's talking about this, like him still being like, it's almost like he's socially awkward.
Yes.
He's socially awkward because he's had years of like seclusion, and he comes to this new life as a child, basically, but he wants to gain friends, and he still has this like very regal, kingly way of talking, and it doesn't work with kids, and he has to figure it out, and like the adults helping him and stuff, and he's like, I was thoroughly entertained by it. It was just funny. Yeah. And then to see him pull off some like cool stuff still in the end, like show you that he's still overpowered, even though like he's trying to hide it, or he doesn't. Like, I assume that the girl he initially meets, the reason she feels like she's alone is because she's super powerful, obviously. Right. And then he's like, well, I'm even more powerful, but he's not like demonstrating that. It was a really cool first episode.
Yeah, so the greatest demon lord is reborn as a typical nobody is basically him being a demon lord, or let's just say, for lack of a better word, put it in a little bit of perspective, is him being a king. Okay, he lived his entire life born a king, raised as a king, so everybody kneeled to him. Everybody basically confided, like basically surrendered themselves to him. So the only life he knows is being catered to. He's reborn, but this time he's trying to be a normal, let's call it NPC, just a regular dude, and it doesn't work because he still has the mindset that everybody's supposed to be, adherent to his needs. So it's again another funny show, which very different. Like when you look at the title, The Greatest Demon Lord is Reborn as a Typical Nobody, you think a typical isekai, and it's not. It's none of that. It's reincarnation. It's a very interesting story about this kid who's just trying to get a normal life and have normal friends, and ended up becoming something more. And that first episode was really, really good.
Right.
Really, really good.
What's your next one?
Bro, this the Tomodachi game probably.
Oh, the Tomodachi game?
Yeah, it probably was the least memorable. And what I mean by the least memorable is not saying that it's bad, it's not. It was a good first episode. Everything had a great first episode. Let me just get that out there. But this one, for me, I forgot about it after I watched it. Only because I got a feeling, I think I know how this is going to turn out. This is going to go and I'm hoping I'm wrong. But you remember that show? What was that show? That was kind of like this. They were trapped in this school. These students.
The Korean TV show or the Japanese TV show?
No. It's an anime. These kids, they're in a school. They got the one quote unquote smart kid, and they got viewers or something like that. They got to get a certain amount of viewers.
Oh, what the fuck is that? Something. The one that we thought we was gonna like.
Yep. Again, it's giving me those kind of vibes, which I'm leaning towards more of this being like way better than that. But it's also, again, it seems kind of predictable. I'm not gonna say I know what's gonna happen, but I just feel like I know where this is going. It's gonna be quite average, in my personal opinion.
I think
still
so.
Good, though.
What drew me in for this episode, because I thought it was a pretty solid first episode. What drew me in for this episode was the fact that so they set the precedent that this main character, he cares most about his friends, right? That's what he cares the most about. But I also like to argue the fact that he's not sure what he cares the most about because he keeps asking or keeps making that thought. So he's not 100% sure. And, whatever. The game is the main name of the show is about doubting friendships, right? And obviously he's going to consistently believe in his friends in order to get through to the end. Mm-hmm. But his action at the very last second is what made me like, okay, well, we knew something had to happen. So what had to give? I like that. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was the most interesting episode, but I see potential in where it could go. And I still see potential in how it could fall. But I don't think this is going to be like Platinum End.
No.
Platinum End all the way through.
100% agree with that. It's not the most appetizing to look at either. Don't look that good.
It was okay.
It looked kind of stiff compared to everything else that we watched, to be honest.
I would have to agree with that too. There was some other stuff that just had way better animation than I thought it would.
Yeah. Talk to me. What you got next?
What did I watch? That was sheesh. I watched my sleeper, Dawn of the Witch. Mm-hmm. So hear me out.
Very chivalry.
Very, very much like chivalry. We didn't get a lot from this episode though, right? Like true. we didn't get as much as I would have liked to have gotten, but it really, I feel like it did a job, like its own thing with introducing kind of what the feel of this is going to be like. Yeah. I would have liked to have. This is one of those things where it would have benefited from something like that 45-minute episode, because this first episode went too quick. We didn't quite get to what the thesis or what the meaning of this anime is going to be. Obviously, you can read the synopsis for that, but it did still give a cool vibe because our main character, we know that his memory was erased, or he had no memory of his life previously. Right. And now that he's in this school, he's the worst student. And they give us some feeling. I have a feeling, obviously, he's not the worst student. And
of course, he's not the worst one.
He's not the worst one. Oh, that's a chivalry call out. I hear you, Polo. Yeah. But it also gives me that vibe that there's just a lot more to be discovered. Yeah. And it looked better than I was planning on it looking. Like Dawn of the Witch, I didn't expect it
looked real good.
Yeah, some of the movement in this, especially when in that slight little bit of action. Yeah. The movement there looked clean.
So this definitely sparks those 2000 12, 13, 14-ish anime where there's Irregular High School, there's Infinite, it's like Infinite Stratos and Chivalry of a Failed Knight. It definitely gets those vibes, but to be fair, it's definitely
it's not piggybacking off of their stuff.
Yes, I was about to say it's definitely cliche, but it's cliche in a unique way, if that makes sense.
Right.
The one thing that this show did that I did not like, outside the show's okay, it's pretty good, but the one thing it did that I do not like that shows like this do, and like you said, it could have benefited from that 45-minute episode, is kind of give us the world lore and conversation. That shit never sit right with me. Every time they sit down, you get caught. The main character gets called to the principal's office. He's sitting in the dean's office, and they're talking about, well, you know about this world, right? It's been how many years for this kid to be in this school, and they start to explain the world lore and explain how the magic works and explain how the class system works and just explain how stuff works in this conversation inside of the headmaster's office. And it just feels, I don't know, I never liked that kind of.
It's out of place because the students should already know.
Exactly.
They should have done that in the first 2 seconds.
Right. Or even
where we don't know.
Exactly. Or even when they do stuff like what they did in Soul Eater. Soul Eater, they had, and I'm not a fan of Soul Eater, as y'all know, but in Soul Eater, they had the teacher teach the students what the lore was, or he's they're teaching it on the chalkboard or whatever it is, and then the students answers the questions that the teacher's asking that is explaining the lore to the viewer. I like that better. They could have did that instead of doing what they did here. talking to a student who should already know with it. But other than that, very, very interesting stuff. I'm curious to see where this witch and her staff situation is about. They kind of foreshadowed her staff being special, and if I got a feeling he's going to touch it, and then that's when we're going to get a full realization of what his power actually is. So
yeah,
atypical, predictable, maybe. Good show, yeah. Good first episode, yeah, for sure. They got the waifus in it too. Okay. Man. Whew, let's see where I want to go.
What about the one you just finished watching?
Let's save that one for next after this one though, because this one will shock you. Cue the YouTube red arrow around the circle. Love After World Domination. Did you watch this?
I didn't. Love After World Domination?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bro, this is such not a polo anime until you watching. You like, damn, this kind of is a polo ass anime. So it's about these Power Rangers. I'm gonna just put it in broad terms. It's about these Power Rangers, okay, who literally do Power Ranger shit. They protect the world, okay? The Red Ranger, is the leader of the Power Rangers, obviously. He's fighting the evil villain, which is this chick that you see on the art, and he ended up falling in love with her. So the entire story, or the entire first episode, is them being on a date while the other Rangers are fighting the villain mobs down at the bottom. He's on this date with the main villain, and the story basically the first episode tells the story of how they got together, and it is extremely interesting because now these two, the Red Ranger and then the evil main villain, are in love with each other, and they're together, and now they have to try to keep their relationship secret from everybody, from the world, and that's what this is about basically. Very interesting show. I think everybody's gonna miss this one, but I think it's a very, very good show. Already has a 72 on AniList, which is shocking, but it's incredible. It's incredible. She's definitely second place for waifu this season.
Well, I added it to my watch list because if you think it's going to be that good,
I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. I'm very curious to see what everything else around them is going to be about, because I don't really care about the other Rangers. But they're called like gelatos, and they're basically based off of like either pop or different fruits. It's a weird, interesting thing, but I'm definitely into it. Definitely into it so far. I can't wait till you watch it. I absolutely love these two main characters, by the way.
Yeah. So one of the other ones that just kind of, just like, some of these are just really good. I'm quitting heroing.
Yes.
So this actually is not in that same like feel as what Polo was talking about. But what's nice about it is that it has our main character is a hero, and he's going for an interview. And he's interviewing to join the Demon Lord's army.
This is after he kicks the Demon Lord's army ass, by the way.
Yeah, after he beats the Demon Lord's army, destroys it. After he beats all of the Demon Lord's top four,
her
the elite
generals.
four,
Yeah,
is what they call them, and then beat the Demon Lord herself, right?
Yep.
Beat everybody. And then because he's so powerful, and he did it all by himself, because he like how he explained it was that he was doing stuff in the group, but when he like started to realize that they were just holding him back, he just went and did everything by himself. And now everyone's like, he's too powerful. We have to either kill him or something. No one can kill him. So he gets banished from the land. The king's like, I want you to know I believe in you. It's like, whatever, king, you don't really believe me because you still banish me regardless of whatever happens.
he has to follow the orders of his people, the king says.
Right. He's trying to enlist into the Demon Lord's army. And I just think like how he explained how he beat everybody, it was like some of it he tried to make it seem like it's a fluke, but he did it.
No.
Like the fact that he cast a a spell ward around himself and the strongest one of the Demon Lord's army, and she couldn't cast any spells, so she was just hitting him with her staff, and it did no damage to him. That was beautiful. Yeah. I'm just like, yo, maybe he's just using common sense, you know? Maybe that's all it is. But this anime, it was actually kind of funny. Well, I'm gonna say it was funny. Yeah, and it just was interesting, like, to see where it goes. Like, we got some good stuff this season so far. I'm excited to see where this one goes to.
Yeah, man, this one was special for me because this one had me so intrigued because of the fact is, like, I just thought about me and his situation. If I was in his situation, I would do the exact same thing. Like, everybody's trying to kill me. Nobody appreciate what I did with saving the entire world. Nobody. And then they also bring in the slight spoilers, but they bring in the fact that he learns that the demon lord, the demon queen or whatever, she didn't want to kill unnecessarily. So only when it was necessary to kill, that's what she was allowed. So he's curious to get to know her and find out her motivations. But I definitely feel him with joining the demon side. I'm like, okay, all right, y'all gonna do me like this? All right, I'm gonna really be a demon then.
Ain't got time for that. I got a demon lorded up now.
Kind of fitting for my check waifu. Oh yeah, that's a great one. Next one, man. For me, I'm gonna have to say this the Skeleton Knight in Another World.
Yeah.
This one again, this one did what I like. What they do is we don't know anything, just like the main character doesn't know anything. We just know that he's in the world of a video game that he frequent, you know. But he joins this world as a holy knight who happens to find out that he has a class combination that you can't normally do in the game, which means that he's actually, you guessed it, overpowered. so in this world, he's obviously this holy knight who's extremely powerful, but he has the avatar of a skeleton, extremely overlordish, but except he's good. Instead of Ainz being bad, he's the good guy. But it kind of starts off a little raunchy, like starts off with him protecting girls who are being assaulted, if you will. And I'm like, damn, this is how you gonna start it? Crunchyroll put the viewer discretion as advised warning as it was happening. I'm like, what the fuck? But
that's how they opened the anime.
That's how you open the anime. It was like as it was crazy to see. But outside of that, I'm intrigued to see where it goes. This one maybe not as interesting as the rest of the stuff this season, but I'm definitely interested in see where to go. And again, this looks really good as far as like aesthetic goes, because they even him being this holy knight, he actually stands out in the world because his armor is pseudo CG, pseudo 2D, and it looks good. And I think it's intentional, obviously, because what they're trying to showcase is that he doesn't belong here, and he stands out. And I like that art style or art decision. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I thought so. I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't what I thought it was, because I thought he was going to be like Ainz.
I'm glad he wasn't.
I'm very glad he's not.
Yeah.
But, and also the fact that he seems to be hiding his appearance as you know, a skeleton man. Yeah. But I enjoyed, like, one of the things I enjoyed was like the small little quips and statements he was making. Like, he's walking out and he's saying they're talking about why would a knight need to join a mercenary guild? Why would he want to become a mercenary?
Right.
And the guy, the guild mercenary leader dude is talking about how he's like, I imagine he just gotta pick up some extra money to save his sick daughter. Yeah. And the other guy's like, oh my God. And as our main character's walking out, he's like, I guess I got some randomly assigned backstory. It's like, yes, bro.
True. Yeah, he points out like the obvious shit that is video gamey. I like it. I like it. Again, this is one of the ones that you look at and you be like, this is a cool just turn my brain up kind of show, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
agreed.
really have to focus too much, and you're going to be entertained, but you're not going to be blown back by it. What you got?
All right. So
List is
the
fat.
one Trapped in a Dating Sim. Now this one was one of my more surprising ones. I definitely enjoyed these first 2 episodes on this.
True.
Especially with him doing kind of like what he did in that first episode, because our main character, again, he's in his regular life. He's playing a dating sim in his regular life for his sister, who didn't want to complete the game because she got to hear this sound at the end of the game.
Right.
Like specifically like this ending game sound, and she's like, you better full complete it so I can go ahead and hear the sound. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And after he finally beats the game, some days and days of playing the game or whatever, he goes outside to get a breath of fresh air, basically.
Some food.
And food. And as he's walking, he trips and falls over the stairs and lands on his face, wakes up in this new world.
Presumably dead.
We assume he's dead. And he wakes up in this dating sim game where basically women have all the power and men have none of the power. So it's just, take that concept with how you will. He goes to this school to essentially find himself a queen, and he's in a dating simulator where like there's these other extremely anime handsome guys who are going to be competing for the same queens that he's competing for, and he just wants to be like, you know what, I just want to live my life if I can in this world, try and do whatever I can to like fly by.
Yep.
But it's not quite that smooth for him. So
yeah, you know what? I think I credit this to like what is it called? Hanukkah in My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, where these main characters are just trying to, and Osamaki, where these main characters are just trying to be side characters. He keeps calling himself, I'm just trying to be a mob in this game.
I'm trying to be a mob.
I'm not trying to do nothing. But what's crazy is that his initial life is pretty awful. Like his father is married to this baronet, and is it baronet or baroness? Baroness. And she's like a total B word. She's just awful, obviously, because again, women have all the power, men have none of it. But he's also the husband is also married to another woman. Is that what I was getting from there?
I think so. Like he has another wife, but you know, that's his main wife. Mm-hmm. But he don't. That's his main wife, but it's not really his main wife.
Yeah. So very, very weird situation there. But I'm like, interesting stuff. I mean, he get this opportunity to be in this game, and what's funny is that when he was playing the game, he paid to win, quote unquote, which means that he bought the most powerful ship in the game to help him complete one of the essential dungeon crawls. And what he does in his first episode is try to relive that situation by getting out of that baronet's house and fucking doing his thing. It's a great episode. So far it's middle of the road this season, but I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would, to be honest. The isekai genre is becoming more and more unique as it grows.
I mean, this was, I think, a pretty good take on it, right? Because this is like, it's still an isekai, but we're in a dating sim. And as y'all know, I said this once before on this podcast, I used to play dating sims as a kid, and I don't know if I was ashamed to tell anybody, but I don't think nobody knew I played dating sims.
If you would have told me, I would have told you the same thing.
Yeah, but you know, we was in there, and hey, now look at it. It's talking about an anime where you being a dating sim.
What's funny is I played the Clannad game after watching the show. The Clannad game is a dating sim. I was or a visual novel, but
in like middle school. I can't even remember the one I was playing, but
was it on Newgrounds?
Yeah, I shouldn't have been playing it, bro.
Yeah, no. It's a lot of them that I should have been playing too. That I enjoyed.
I remember I had to bring this girl like a radio or something. And next thing I know, I got a wallpaper with no clothes on.
There it is. There it is. Oh my God. That's great. I love it.
That was Young Taliano.
Young Taliano. We just about covered everything except for the main thing, obviously. The main thing we're going to talk about is Rising of the Shield Hero. We're going to keep that in this spoiler talk, probably. But what else do you have, Till?
All right, so this one isn't on this spring list, but only because I know the anime is coming. So I thought all these years, all this time, I had watched Classroom of the Elite. And I turned it on to get like a refresher of what it was about. I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna turn it on real refresher. And I'm like, this is not what I remember Classroom of the Elite being. I finished the first episode, I get to the second episode, I'm like, this is definitely not, I don't remember none of this. I get to episode 3, I'm just like,
yeah, this new.
I'm like, hold the I get to episode 4, I'm like, wait,
this
okay,
is
this is what's happening. And I get to episode 5, I'm like, I'm gonna just stop here because this clearly ain't the same anime that I thought I had already watched.
So you got 5 deep. Let me know what you're thinking.
It's pretty good. I'm not gonna say it's like amazing, but I can see where the mind games and stuff are going to be going.
Oh, that's great.
I think that it was way more interesting than I gave it credit for in my mind because I thought I watched this already. I was like, Classroom of the Elite was not that good, bro. It was not that good. Everybody hyping it up.
Oh, you got to keep watching. Oh, you got to keep watching for sure.
Yeah, so we in there.
That's phenomenal. That is phenomenal. I'm glad you're watching it though before summer because that's coming up next after this season. So
right, and I was like, why do Classroom of the Elite keep popping up? I thought the new episode came out, so I was like, let me go ahead and watch it before the new episode come out for the spring season. I ain't even checked to make sure what season it came out in, but here we are. I'm 5 episodes deep into Classroom of the Elite.
4 years later. Ah, bro.
Don't judge me.
I got to talk about this last one before we get to the last one. Komi Can't Communicate Part 2. So good still. So good. So they introduced a new student who apparently is not a new student. He just hasn't been coming to class because of his unfortunate circumstances. And this is the Part 2 starts off with this big burly guy. And what Komi does is what Komi does well is it gives their side characters personality. It gives their side characters so much personalities that it just feels so, you feel so attached to them. Right. Every character in this classroom has a personality. So this guy comes in with his personality and it starts off with his inner monologue. And he's talking about how, man, I haven't been to school since winter because a series of unfortunate events, I'm gonna just call it, and I'm finally able to start school again and I'm excited about it and let's go. I'm ready to get this thing started. The problem with this guy is he's about, I'm gonna just guesstimate. This is not what they said in the show, but I'm gonna just guesstimate, but so you can get a picture of it in your mind. Komi Can't Communicate is this guy that starts school. He's about 6'7", 230, big giant dude, blonde hair, extremely mean face. But in his mind, his inner monologue, he's the sweetest, nicest, friendliest guy who's trying his best to smile around the other students, who's trying to just, make everybody feel comfortable. He's trying not to be an issue or a problem. And all he's doing with him trying to do all this stuff is causing more problems because he's like, okay, and his inner monologue, he's like, okay, let me go ahead and smile. Everybody's staring at me, so I'm gonna go ahead and smile at my classmates how I was taught to from reading this book on to How to Win Friends, basically. He smiles. This fucking evil grin shows up on his face. Everybody gets scared of him and feel like they need to protect Komi. They go around Komi. He walks over and says, "Who's this girl that everybody's around? I have to see her because everybody seems to be impressed." He goes over to Komi. He stands in front of Komi and he sees her, and obviously she can't communicate. So she's just kind of staring at him, and she gets nervous and she does her little shake and her shiver. And he takes that as this girl is something about this girl is scary to me. He's scared, so his knees buckle and he sits right next to her, and it ended up becoming this whole situation where these two are like battling with inner monologues, and she can't communicate, but he's thinking something different, and it's just such a unique situation. Our main character though steps in and something wholesome ensues, and I just love Comey Can't Communicate. The show is fucking phenomenal. Almost a perfect comedy slice that you just can never go wrong with in every stretch of the imagination. It's almost a 10 out of 10 for me. Had to get that out there.
I mean, sheesh, that's crazy. Where's Comey Can't Communicate on your slice of life list?
Top 10 for sure. I just don't know how far up because my slice list is extensive. Very extensive. I might have to
we gotta get that Polo top 5 sometime.
Damn, that's gonna make me have to do work. I'm gonna have to study.
Just look at your Annie list and be like, yeah, I'm gonna put this in my top 5.
But there's like character development versus world building versus character like side character personality versus.
Okay, but we talking about your personal favorite. We're not talking about you trying to be 100% objective on your personal favorite.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what my personal favorite is because everything has something so fucking endearing to me that it's hard to choose. Very, very hard to choose.
Polo put Clannad at number 1 because of the eyes.
You put it whatever you put it because of the eyes. I don't mind the eyes.
I'm just joking. Sheesh, bro. You watched a lot though. What else did you watch?
I think that's it. Outside of Rising of the Shield Hero.
Okay.
Spy Family though. Let's talk about that. So Spy Family and Rising of the Shield Hero, we can go into full spoilers in the second half of the show.
All right.
But let's just give our general thoughts of both shows.
It made me feel happy as a dad.
Spy Family.
Yeah, Spy Family.
Okay.
100%. Made me feel happy as a dad. And it also still gave a very like this could be some action, this could be some love stuff. So I'm happy to see like how this is gonna go, because our main character has a really cool concept in terms of like who he is, what he does, that kind of stuff. Obviously he's a spy because that's what the show is about, but him specifically, and you know, even his like monologues and stuff.
Very like, burn notice E again.
That's one of the things I think they did extremely well for this first episode was the monologues. Yes. And even finding out what we found out about the little girl with those monologues, it made those moments actually seem better to me because you knew in your mind what was going on, you know?
Yeah. This, again, this does what I like with the world building. Yes, they could have done a whole conversation thing. They didn't. Instead, they use either a narrator or inner monologue to explain the situation. I like that so much better, man. So much better than they're trying to be quote unquote natural with discussing the world and how it works. This is just use a narrator. Just do that. That works probably the best out of all of these options, to be honest. The narrators or inner monologues, but just learning about what he's doing, what he's going through so far, and this mission. This mission, though, I'm not going to lie to you, seems, and this is obviously intentional because this is what the show is doing intentionally. This mission seems to be underscaled. Does that make sense?
Toned down?
Yes, the mission seem like it's simple, but from the simple mission comes the family portion of Spy Family, and I think that's where the intrigue is. That's why this is so intriguing to me, because again, that mission seems like, okay, this is some dude that he has to meet up with and eventually either take out. But something about that whole, like, you have to have a family kind of thing, and the way it was delivered to him had me like, oh, this is interesting.
because it adds another complicated layer, or adds a complicated layer, because now you got to have a child, and you got to hope the child can be helpful in being a spy, and then you got to find a wife or a significant other, and then hope that they are compatible with you being a spy. And you know, dude got lucky at least with one part so far.
Yeah, obviously he gonna find that waifu and it's gonna turn into what it is. But again, this is another show we know nothing about. Can't wait to talk about that in the spoiler talk. Rising of the Shield Hero.
Best episode of the week. I'm just playing.
It was okay.
It was an so you can't go into this thinking like I'm gonna get that same kind of like first 45-minute episode that we got from the original series, right?
No way.
They show us like what almost feels like a moment of happiness and reprieve for our main characters before things get hectic. And
yeah, we don't talk about that in spoiler talk.
We see the initial problem coming on pretty soon, like within minutes almost, because I think they just make it happen with these bats or whatever. True.
What did you think about the overall episode though?
It was good.
It was good.
It was really good. It was. I mean, I think it could have been better. I think that they could have done some things better, but I think as an opening episode, it was cool.
Yeah, I think so too. It was fine, and that's okay. When you think about it, man, that's a lot of fucking Rising, bro. The first episode was 45 minutes, and the season was 25 episodes. That's fucking ridiculous. That's just too much.
It is a lot, actually.
That's too much. Luckily, again, I said this last week or 2 weeks ago, I think, but 13 episodes is going to be perfect for this, I think. I will say this. I fucking prefer this shit dubbed. I hate the sub of this. Nah, man. All the characters sound so boring that is unbelievable. Like it just, and again, they don't sound bad. They're not bad voice actors by any stretch of the imagination, but compared, if I didn't start off with the dub and started off with the sub, I'll be fine with it. But I started off with the dub and went to the sub, and I'm like, that shit was putting me to sleep. I had to pause a few times because Naofumi sounds so fucking boring. Retalia sounds fucking boring. Philo even sounds boring, and she's supposed to be the adorable kitty one, and it was
loud mouth.
Yeah. It was just so fucking. I was getting put to sleep. I'm like, man, my goodness. Especially in this, like you said, this reprieval of an episode. I'm like, man, fuck.
Right. The only character that sound kind of boring, but I don't actually think it's boring, was Fatoria. And that's the chicken
Fallopian queen.
Bird. Yeah, the fallopian queen. She the only one that sound boring to me, but I know she about action.
The thing is, she's supposed to sound boring.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part.
Her smile, meanwhile, she's saying, "I'll put all y'all in the body bag."
Straight up,
with a smile on her face.
Everybody sounded. Even the queen. I love the queen's voice in dub, bro. Like, so good. What's funny is they call her bitch in the dub, and they call her slut in the sub. Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. All right, we're gonna get to those in the spoiler talk. Let's get to know my chick waifu. It's where one of us rolls a random number generator, the other reads a question associated with that number, and this time it's my turn to read the question. Tell's turn to read the random number generator, and we have 40 questions in the list.
And the number is 40.
It's funny, isn't it?
It is funny.
What is the happiest memory from when you were a single digit age? Happiest memory. That's tough. Single digit age, huh?
It would have to be, I remember being like 4 years old, maybe 5, and my in the kitchen with my mom playing Uno, and she beat me. And we was like, we wasn't technically in the ghetto, but we was like right outside the ghetto, kind of area. But yeah, I was playing Uno with her, and she beat me. But I was cool with that. I wasn't upset.
This is fucked up, bro. I have zero happy memories from my single digit age. That's crazy. No, let's move on before that gets dark. When we come back, we're going to spoil Rising of the Shield Hero and Spy Family. So stick around if you watch those two shows, which I'm pretty sure 100% of you have. Stick around if you watch those two shows. We'll be right back after these. And welcome back to episode 147. 147 of the Mic Check Waifu. Make sure you guys, again, rate us on iTunes, share us on Twitter, like our Instagram post or whatever. People
share us on Instagram too if you want to. If that's what you're doing.
Yeah, share us on Instagram as well. We're back here to discuss spoiler talks for Rising and Spy Family. Which one you want to start first?
Spy Family.
Yeah, let's do Spy Family first. Incredible fucking episode, man.
So
it was a lot of information.
Yeah. So our main character is a spy. Dun, 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 dun. That's a 007 intro.
Whose code name is Twilight.
Mm-hmm. And basically, his most recent mission is to carry out an assassination. The mission he was doing though was kind of funny because what did he do? Like he stole pictures from like that his family had. Like somebody stole his family pictures of his dad. Was that what it was?
I thought it was a toupee thing.
Yeah, it was pictures of his dad wearing a toupee.
Oh, that's his dad.
Stole. That was his dad.
Oh, I missed that.
Or that probably no. It probably, you know what? And I could also be tripping because it probably wasn't his dad because was he on a date? Yep. Was that the hair of the person he was talking to?
Yes, that was the date.
That's what it was. That was the date, and he stole the pictures back. And I'm just like, okay, bro, like you doing jobs like this, but you a super spy. But it just gets to the his new mission where he has to assassinate someone, and part of the mission is he needs to have a family, right? Mm-hmm. So his first action is to acquire a location, a home, right? Mm-hmm. Boom, does that. Straightforward, simple, easy. He's like, it's got no straightforward escape points, anything like that.
Yep.
No easy entrances. This is a good place.
Loved it.
Then he's like, right. Then he's like, all right, let's find a child. He goes to an orphanage, walks in, he's looking for children. And what did he say? What was his statement for like the right kind of child? I can't remember exactly what he said what the perfect child was.
He said it's someone who can read and write, and I think he saw the crossword puzzle or something like that. I can't remember. It was someone who can read and write, and when he's like, well, okay, she's the smartest one we have. And he walks into the room and sees her, and he starts talking to her, and he's like, I wonder if she'll be okay for a spy mission. And that's when she perks up. She goes and grabs the crossword, shows it to him, sits down, and starts filling it out. Meanwhile, he's saying all the things that the crossword puzzle would have in it. So she gets everything correct on the crossword puzzle and shows him. And I'm just like, okay, she's smart. She's super smart. She raw. He says, what did he say to her? What was he saying in his mind? He said something in his mind. He said, I wonder how old she is. She looks like she's like 4 or 5. She said, I'm 6.
And he said 6. I'm 6. And I'm just like, oh, she can read his face.
Yeah.
Come to find out a little bit later, she's actually a telepath. She's telepathic. Mm-hmm. So she can read his mind. That's how she can do some of these things. It's not particularly that she's smart, because she's not necessarily smart. She just uses her telepathy to do everything she needs.
Which is a crazy twist that I just found so unexpected. Like, I'm so glad I knew nothing about this show going into it. Like, with everybody that we follow on Twitter, I probably should know the entire show because this is all they talk about. But I knew nothing about it, and coming into it like this, finding this out, I'm like, oh, this is fucking incredible.
And it's
incredible
adorable.
Concept. Yes, super adorable. Very wholesome. The moment, just to fast forward a bit, the moment that they were in the house together and she was excited about the TV, turned on the TV, and her favorite show was on. Which is a spy show. I'm like, oh, this is great. And then just having her.
She said, I want a gun with a silencer on it.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. We're not giving you that. You're 6.
And it was funny. He said, okay, we'll find you one. Oh my God. It was so funny, man. I love the art style of the show too, by the way.
It is. It's
very noir,
like simple,
and
very simple. But like it's stylized.
Yes.
The motion is smooth. Mm-hmm. The frame rate didn't seem like super choppy or anything like that. Now, the point that got me, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to watch this every week, was closer to the end. when he gets kind of attacked.
Kind of.
And they try and take the girl or whatever. Like, they have an issue with the little girl. What he does is, we know him as the man of many faces. Is he essentially kidnaps the girl, runs away with her, and says, like, the same girl he adopted. He kidnaps her, runs away with her, and says, "Hey, here's this piece of paper. I need you to run away here, and basically don't look back. I need you to run away, and
to the police station." Yeah,
exactly. And the whole time, he doesn't know she's a telepath, so she's reading his mind, and she's like seeing, obviously, how sincere he is and that kind of stuff. She can't tell his face because he can change his face, which was cool as fuck. And he's telling her, like, this is what you do, and I play tag. I'm a professional tagger with my friends, and this is just what I need you to do. So she takes it. Yeah, and, she's like teary-eyed and starts running, and she turns around and hears like all the nice thing he's saying. He's like, this is gonna be an easier life for her. She won't have to deal with this. What was I thinking, trying to bring this little girl into this? And she sees him throw his mask to the ground, and she kind of gets even more teary-eyed, like, oh my God, he is a good person and everything like that. And he goes and finishes off his business, with the other people. And he's coming back home.
Whoop they ass.
Right, though. And he see her sit on the ground playing with a stick. He's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, oh, I just waited here. And I'm just like, oh my God. This is so cute. She grabbed him by the legs, hug him, like, don't leave me and all that stuff. I'm just like, yo, bro.
Very, very touching.
Yeah, very touching. That alone, I was like, I will continue to watch. I will continue to watch. You sold me with her alone. What's her name? Anya. You have sold me just with Anya alone.
She's perfect. She's the perfect little just ball of joy. I'm interested to see where this goes when he picks up his waifu.
For sure.
And what she's about. She seems extremely deviant from the on the next episode type shit. So I can't wait to find out more about this show. Again, I'm so glad I wasn't fucking just spoiled. I see a lot of people posting pages and shit, but I ain't no context.
I haven't seen any pages.
Oh yeah, people blowing this shit up before it came out. But with that, oh yeah, I did. We can talk about that.
It's the finale episode, Tokyo 24 Award.
Yeah, the finale episode of Tokyo 24 Award. This show turned out better than I thought it was going to be.
It did.
Very predictable, but it actually touched me.
So, I will say I wasn't 100%. I didn't predict the ending entirely, right? Like I knew that they would have to come together, solve some kind of issues, that kind of stuff. But what necessarily happens at the end, I thought they was going to find another way around it.
True.
Some
Very
way,
true.
right?
Yeah.
But in the end, they still had to make the trolley decision, right? The reality is that the trolley question is a question for a reason, right? Like, you can't save both sides.
Yep.
You can only do one or the other. And that's what they've been trying to do the whole time, is do both things, right? So this is a really cool ending to that.
So good.
How'd you feel towards the end?
Their fight between each other was extremely believable, right? RGB, them fighting for the reasons that they're fighting. Everybody believed that what they feel is the right answer, and you cannot blame none of them. Neither R, neither G, neither Blue.
Right.
You cannot blame them for their dilemmas, but they each come to each other with basically separate dilemmas that they eventually decide that we need to just do this. There's one thing that we all have in common outside of our different perspectives on the situation, and that's we need to see Asumi. And they come to that conclusion to say, okay, let's do that because we know that that's the right thing to do, and they work together to do so with the help of side characters who essentially gave them the ticket to do so, because they knew that they was the only people who could do it. Getting that call from Asumi and them, and her telling them this is the final dilemma or the final trolley problem. You got this situation, and one of the situations was what you can keep me here, but it's gonna have a bug that's gonna glitch out everything, and it's gonna turn the world into this awful fucking horrible control place, or you can turn me off and it'll basically get my father arrested. Everybody becomes irate, and it becomes this huge issue in the streets because people are rioting and they're unhappy and blah blah blah. So each problem is basically a failure, which is different. Well, no, not really, not necessarily different, because that's what a trolley problem is, right? But it's still. I think this was a more drastic change from what they've been experiencing with the other trolley problems. But I mean, was it? Because they had tornadoes and disasters and shit.
Yeah, and I would say in comparison, right? Because
long term, right?
Although what they did was technically not within that trolley problem, right? They still chose to do something, right? They still chose to talk to her and essentially eliminate her, right? But I guess the process itself that they came together to do it, those kind of things, I guess, changed the outcome of it. I mean, there's not 100% explanation on with that, right? But
because the world got to see,
right? The world got to see
24th ward.
Yeah, they got to see what actually happened with Asumi.
How she felt, how they felt.
That conversation between the four of them was something else, bro. That was probably like, that conversation alone, definitely like highlight worthy of the entire series.
100%. It cleaned it up for me personally, because the last few episodes weren't that great up until that point.
Yeah, I agree. And it's hard for some of these anime that, especially that have like action based themes and stuff like that, to wrap things up with the conversation so well.
Yes.
And to kind of do what they did. And a lot of the stuff that they didn't talk about, where they just showed us, that was still refreshing, right? So they're having this conversation with Asumi, and they're all talking about regrets and different things that they've been doing to get to this point, and how they disagreed and they finally got here. And our main character, Blue, is what I'm gonna call him because I can't remember his name exactly right now.
Yeah, it's okay. I know him better by that way anyway.
Yeah, he's saying, I became a hero for you. Like, I can't accept the options. Yeah, I can't accept the options you gave us, because I became a hero for you and I can't save you. Thus, like, it makes everything I've done, incomplete, and I can't do this. And he says,
Facts.
I love you. And Green is like, I see where you're coming from, but hey, sister, I love you too. Yeah. And then Red is like, and just little old me, who uses you as the best muse ever for art, I love you too. And they do all this love you, and the whole fucking Tokyo 24 Force starts talking about some, the girl who dad died, you're the reason I'm still alive, and I appreciate you, and I love you. And then the whole town is just saying, Asumi, we love you. And I'm just like, my heart.
And as cliche as that was, the fact that it was still so emotionally powerful was telling, bro. That meant that the show is good. That alone. Yeah. Because of the simple fact is, because we were still emotionally moved by something so cliche, means that we cared about the characters, we cared about the world, we cared about the through plot line, and the outcome. That made it good. Although the last few episodes weren't that great, and that is so surprising. What a good show!
Yeah, and another really good one.
Shout out
glad we made it to this finale.
Same,
because we could have skipped over that one too.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up, because I totally forgot it with all the shit we watched. But no, that was incredible. Absolutely incredible show. And then last but not least, Rising of the Shield Hero. Again, kind of mundane, man. Which I think is intentional. Was nice. Honestly, because I watched the last episode leading right into this one, so that's why I had the dub versus the sub on my mind so closely, and it was good, man. For some reason though, and from watching the last episode to the first episode, animation was off. Animation in the first episode was ugly.
So this is why I made sure to say that in the first episode of Spy Family, like how the animation was smooth. Mm-hmm. There was moments when I was watching this, and I literally went back. Like, I got a 4K TV to 120 hertz or frames per second. With I got the best 4K cables connected to it, like $120. It ain't the best, but $120 4K cable connected to it. And I'm gonna sit here and be real with y'all. I saw some frame rate droppage, and I was like, go ahead and a little bit. But let me make sure my internet is not acting funny. I went back and rewinded the scene. I was like, why does it look choppy?
Not only did it look choppy, but there also had scenes where the art was off. It was kind of, I'm not gonna say it was as bad as Seven Deadly Sins, but it just wasn't. Something didn't seem right with the drawings, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, it took y'all forever. Why is it looking like this? I was expecting it to come out and be A1 pictures quality. You know what I'm saying? But it was. I was expecting, especially after we just like for an anime like this that got so much hype and love. Yes.
And then we leave a season where we had stuff like Demon Slayer. You know, I'm not saying it needed to be on that level in terms of
not at all
quality, but I'm saying like all the love this anime gets, like they could have given us more.
And what's unfortunate is I don't even think it mattered where I watched it, because this was the first thing I watched this season. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that mattered, because after watching everything else, I thought, shit, everything else looks better. And then if I would have watched it last after watching everything else, I would have been like, well, shit, everything else looked better.
that's wild, because like, yeah, a lot of the stuff we watched looked better. is wild. Now to get to the story beats and whatnot, right? We know that Naofumi was granted land. Mm-hmm. He's seeing over the beast people and, you know, the half human people, and it's actually, you know, he's doing pretty well. He's thriving in his land. He's training everyone. Mm-hmm. I can't remember, Melty is running his land, right. You know, and he's doing well for himself.
I love Melty in the dub too, by the way. She's great.
Now, they have an issue, right? They fight, and there's like these random bats with like tortoise shells on their back and stuff like that that just pop up, and they kill him. It's like, okay, that was weird. Where'd that come from? It shouldn't be time for another wave this soon. And
speaking of wave, there was no clock anymore on his HUD.
Exactly. So he looks in the HUD and he doesn't see a clock, right? Or the number stopped. Mm-hmm. It was stopped at like 7. So they don't know when the wave was coming. The wave essentially stopped, and they get called to a meeting. All the heroes get called to a meeting. They pull up to the meeting with the queen, you know, because we didn't see the queen till the last few episodes in the last thing, last season. She's like, hey, this is the scenario. We think the giant destruction tortoise, I'm not exactly sure what the name is.
I think that was actually.
The giant destruction tortoise is awakened, and he's going to destroy all the stuff around him. Yep. And we need you guys to save us and everything around him. And the other heroes are like, I got something else. Where's right. Which in my mind, I'm thinking like they're gonna go do the job because they're stupid for them to just not go do it. Like, why are you here?
They still refuse to work together.
Right. They still refuse to work together, but they're gonna go do the job. Naofumi is like, well, I'll check into it. You know, he's being cooperative as he can be with a group of other assholes.
Right.
Cause, bruh, why they acting like that? I get why they acting like that. They
jealous now. Yeah,
they can't run a fade with Nafumi.
true.
Obviously, they can jump him and still get body bagged.
Facts.
But the queen is like, I guess, like all my worries were not unnecessary because like it's apparent that they're all gonna go do that or whatever, and just they set out to go to take care of the tortoise. On their travels there, they find out that 3 of the heroes have perished fighting the tortoise, and
he did quotes for those listening.
Oh yeah, I did air quotes because when you get there, they asked, or on the way there, they asked Fatoria, who was bashing them, saying like, if y'all can't work together, this is the snare I told you about. If y'all can't work together, I'm gonna come kill all of you. I'm like, yo, Fatoria is a goon, but she's like, if y'all can't work together, I'm gonna come kill all of y'all. And they ask her like, hey, did the other heroes die? And Victoria's like, no, they didn't die. What do you think, stupid? Go do your job. But yeah,
going into the town, once they learned that, I found it intriguing to see that other hooded figure to kind of just. I think I'm fast forwarding it. I can't remember though, but to see that other hooded figure, I kind of know where this is already going. I think.
I have an idea too.
Yeah,
and I mean,
she's gonna be another party member. She's hiding for something, or she's the one who spread that rumor because she's trying to get Nafumi's attention or something like that. Whatever it is, I don't know. But I will say this, and you're gonna hate me for this probably.
Okay.
I really just want to wait for the dub.
I don't hate you.
I do, man. I think the show is great. There's a lot of shit to watch that is phenomenal, though. A lot of shit to watch, and I just don't enjoy the sub enough to want to continue. Which is crazy because I was so excited for this show, but I'm like, I'm okay with waiting now because I have so much other shit to hold me over. Now,
wasn't expecting it to be a good season.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, we were expecting it to be a good season,
definitely. But now, am I probably going to crack? Probably. I'm probably going to end up watching it anyway. But I'm just going to let you know now that I'm going to try not to. So,
okay,
we'll see.
Where I think this anime is going, I think that 3 heroes did die, just not our hero. Because we do know there are other types of heroes.
Yeah, from other worlds.
And our 4 heroes are the cardinal heroes, the main hero. So I believe that 3 heroes did die, just not our heroes. They might not be from another world. They might have been summoned from another place. But they were sending these heroes to fight because this beast is too powerful. So I think it was 3 heroes did die, just not ours.
Didn't they establish in those other 25 episodes that it can only be one set?
I'm not sure. I don't exactly remember because, maybe because those heroes were coming through the wave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
So, I don't know. Who knows? To be honest, there's a lot of shit I forgot in those 25 episodes. That's why I had to go back and rewatch. Luckily, going back and rewatching the last episode was a good enough refresher because you tend to get a pseudo subliminal recap of everything at the end. So it was kind of fitting, kind of perfect. I don't know. I can't wait to watch it. I just really want to see it dubbed. I don't know how long this gonna fucking take though, and that's irritated me. But what I could do is I could replace it for now with Case Study of Vanitas. Watch season 1, part 1 of that, and then go on to part 2. I also must mention this. This is completely off the Rising of the Shield Hero topic, but fucking Rob, Rob, he go tweet, oh, you see, Spy Family ain't getting no backlash for them announcing the part 2. I'm like, come on, man, because that's normal. A show announcing a part 2 to a 2 season is normal. Guess what they announced? after the
We
first
need a
episode.
part 3.
Yeah,
That's the issue.
we don't get part 3s with that, or whatever.
Part 4s and 5s and 6s.
Yeah. What's funny?
Yep. The only anime I know with 100 episode seasons is Pokemon. So let's not do that. Let's not do 100 episode seasons.
Man, it's crazy. It's so crazy to think about, man. All I know is I didn't think that episode was going to do as good, and it did just as good as any of our other episodes, if not better. Funny enough, I got a feeling we lost a lot of people because
I don't think so.
a lot of AOT fans.
No, I don't think so.
And I think we were justified, and I think they think so too.
Agreed, 100%. Justification was there.
True.
No one complained.
Let's wrap.
All right, we just finished talking about Rising of Shield Hero.
Shiro.
And what do you think Naofumi's shield was like if you put Eren Yeager in it? Tokyo 24th War, a great finale. We really enjoyed the finale of this anime and just the anime in general. Spy Family. Sheesh.
Yes, sir.
It's a pretty good one, actually. Interested to see where it goes. On our break, we had some questions. Before our break, we had some questions. Best memories from a single digit age. Let us know. First episode, first impressions. We had a lot of really good first impressions from this season.
Mm-hmm.
Some really good stuff. Let me go ahead and catch up on a couple of these before Polo go ahead and blow me out the water.
Yes, sir.
Our episodes of the week being Spy Family and Shikamaru's Not Just a Cutie. Some good episodes of the week.
Yes, sir.
But just so y'all know, and in case y'all forgot, from the beginning of this episode of 147 Mic Check Waifu, Kingdom Hearts 4 was announced. as long as y'all know.
I'm at Polo Barnfly on all social media.
I'm at King Taliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias at Mic Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mic Check Waifu on Instagram. And as always, Mic Check.
Let's go, bro.
好きなの。予行練習なんて全部嘘。
You're now tuned into Mic Check Waifu.